Dear students, today's topic of my lecture, motion in a plane, part 5. So what you have to learn in it? The first one is projectile and projectile motion, equation of projectile motion, then path of projectile motion, maximum height, time of flight and range of projectile. After that, uniform circular motion, acceleration in uniform circular motion, that is centripetal acceleration. So one by one I explain. The first one is projectile motion. Projectile, an object that is in the flight after it being thrown or projected is called a projectile. For example, we see that when a piece of chalk is thrown, then that piece of chalk is called projectile. And when it is in flight, that is in air, that is called projectile motion. So you see here, the motion of a projectile which is in flight after it being thrown or projected is called projectile motion. It can be understood as the result of two separate simultaneously occurring components of motion, that is along x-axis and y-axis. The component along the horizontal direction is without acceleration. Here we are assuming some points so that we can understand the projectile motion and can find the equation of projectile motion, path of projectile and different derivations of maximum height, time of flight, range of projectile. So for that purpose, the first assumption is the component along the horizontal direction is without acceleration. That is, the acceleration along horizontal direction is 0. Then the component along the vertical direction, that is along y-axis, is with constant acceleration under the influence of gravity. And last one is, in our study, the air resistance is negligible and acceleration due to gravity is constant over the entire path of the projectile. So these three assumptions we have to take and then we draw or drive equation of motion. So for that purpose, suppose the projectile is launched with velocity v0 vector that makes an angle theta naught with x-axis. You see here, this is the velocity vector, this is the initial velocity by which a projectile is projected, which makes an angle theta with x-axis. Then acceleration due to the gravity, which we are assuming that it is constant throughout the path of the projectile, which is represented by minus g j cap. So when we are projecting the projectile in upward direction, then the velocity of the projectile decreases, and when the projectile comes down, then the velocity of the projectile increases. But acceleration due to gravity remains constant. So acceleration acting on the projectile is due to the gravity which is directed vertically downward, that we are saying A vector equal to minus g j cap. Or what we have taken in the assumption that the acceleration along the horizontal direction is 0. So that's why Ax equal to 0 and Ay equal to minus g. Then the component of initial velocity v0 vector that you already studied and I already explained in my previous video. It has the two components. One is along x-axis, another one is along y-axis, that is horizontal component and vertical component. Then you can see that the horizontal component of v0 vector is v0 cos theta naught, and vertical component is V naught sine theta naught. That can be written as V naught x equal to V naught cos theta naught and V naught y equal to V naught sine theta naught. If initial position is taken as origin, then x naught equal to 0 and y naught equal to 0. Therefore, we apply the kinematic equations. So x equal to x naught plus v naught xt plus half axt square. Since acceleration along horizontal axis, that is along x-axis, is 0, therefore ax equal to 0, then this expression that becomes x equal to x naught is 0, so x equal to 0 plus v naught xt plus half into 0 t square. So this factor becomes 0 and this factor becomes 0. These two factors that becomes 0 after substituting the value of x naught and ax. So what you will get, x equal to v naught xt and the v naught x is v naught cos theta naught. So x equal to v naught cos theta naught t. Similarly, we can find out the equation along the vertical axis, y equal to y naught plus v naught yt plus half ayt square, and the y naught is 0. So substitute the value of here, y naught equal to 0, and v naught y is v naught sine theta naught, and in place of ay we write minus g. So equation that becomes y equal to v naught sine theta naught t minus half gt square. The component of velocity at time t are vx equal to v naught x plus axt, that is the first equation of kinematic equation. Now here along the horizontal direction ax equal to 0, so that's why the expression that becomes vx equal to v naught x, and which is v naught cos theta naught. Similarly, the component of velocity along the vertical direction, that is y direction, vy equal to v naught y plus ayt. Substitute the values, you will get vy equal to v naught sine theta naught minus gt. So this is the vertical component of velocity. Now we find out path of projectile. So you understand at different points, horizontal component of velocity remains constant, but vertical component of velocity reduces as the projectile projected upward and increases as it comes down. So you can see here in the diagram, here the projectile is projected with initial velocity v naught vector resolved into the two rectangular component. Horizontal component is v naught cos theta naught, vertical component is v naught sine theta naught. Now horizontal component of velocity remains constant throughout the motion, but vertical component of velocity reduces to 0 at the peak value. You can see here. So here the vertical component of velocity that becomes 0, only the horizontal component of velocity is left here. But as the projectile moves down, then the vertical component of velocity starts increasing. So at the different positions, the horizontal component and the velocity components are shown here. Then the magnitude of the velocity of the projectile at an instant, we say that let at this instant of time, how we can calculate. And you see that here v naught cos theta naught and v naught sine theta naught minus gt, they are the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram if we complete it as a parallelogram. So its resultant is Vt. So that's why this resultant we can calculate by using the formula of the resultant of parallelogram law of vector addition. So the magnitude that we calculate Vt equal to under root V naught square cos square theta plus V naught sin theta naught minus Gt whole square. Similarly, the direction can we find out of this Vt. Suppose we say that it makes an angle beta with the horizontal component V naught cos theta naught. Then find out the tan beta. So tan beta is V naught sin theta naught minus Gt upon V naught cos theta naught. So by these equations, we can find out the magnitude of the velocity of the projectile at an instant of time t and the direction of the projectile at that instant of time t. Now, equation of path of projectile. So, the shape of the path of the projectile that we can find out by using the mathematical equations. So, from here on x-axis, the distance x equal to v naught xt, and substitute the value of the v naught x, then x equal to v naught cos theta naught t. So from here the t equal to x upon v naught cos theta naught. Now similarly along the y-axis, y equal to v naught sin theta naught t minus half gt square. Then that equation becomes the equation that is s equal to ut plus half at square. The same equation that we can write y minus y naught equal to v naught yt plus half ayt square. Substitute the values. Then y naught equal to 0. So that's why you are getting only y. And v naught y is v naught sin theta naught. And t is x upon, from here, v naught cos theta naught square minus half, because ay is minus g. So minus half gt square, and t is x upon v naught cos theta naught square, that is whole square. Now solve it, simplify it. This v naught get cancelled. So what you will get, sin theta upon cos theta naught. So that becomes tan theta naught x. So you see here on simplification what we will get, y equal to tan theta naught x minus g upon 2 v naught cos theta naught whole square, and we take outside x square. So this is the equation similar as the equation of the parabola, because g is constant here, theta naught is constant here, v naught is constant here. So that equation of parabola is y is equal to ax minus bx square. So when we compare by this equation, then you will get a equal to tan theta naught and b equal to g upon 2 v naught cos theta naught square. So that's why we say that the above equation is the equation of parabola and the path of the projectile is a parabolic. So this is the equation of path of projectile. And similarly, we have to find out the time to reach the maximum height and the time of flight of projectile. So when the projectile reach at the maximum height, at that point only the horizontal component is there, then vertical component is 0. And time of flight of the projectile is the time taken by the projectile during the flight, and that is known as the time of flight of projectile. If we say that let Tm be the time taken for the projectile to reach its maximum height, and Tf is the total time of flight of the projectile, that is from the point of projection to the finally when it lands to the surface. So at the point of maximum height, T equal to Tm, then Vy equal to 0, that is the vertical component is 0, only the horizontal component of velocity is there. So you apply the formula, then Vy equal to V naught sine theta naught minus Gt, and that becomes Vy at the maximum height is 0. So 0 equal to V naught sine theta naught minus G Tm. In place of T is Tm. So from here the maximum time that reach at the maximum height, we will get Tm equal to V naught sine theta naught upon G. This is the time to reach maximum height. At T equal to Tf, that is the time of flight. At that time the vertical displacement is 0. So you apply the formula y equal to V naught sine theta naught T minus half Gt square. Then y is 0. So this equation becomes 0 equal to V naught sine theta naught within bracket and Tf, in place of T write Tf minus half G Tf square. So from here what you will get, Tf equal to 2 V naught sine theta naught upon G. So this is the time of flight. And you also see that due to the symmetric nature of the parabolic path, the total time of the flight is equal to time of ascent plus time of descent. And the time of ascent is equal to time of descent. So that's why time of flight equal to 2 times of time to reach maximum height. That is Tf equal to 2 Tm. So this is about time of flight of projectile. Now the maximum height of a projectile. Let Hm be the maximum height of the projectile after the time Tm. Then apply the formula y equal to V naught sine theta naught T minus half Gt square. So in place of y you write Hm and in place of T you write Tm. Then Hm equal to V naught sine theta naught and here it is Tm, and the substitute the value of the Tm, that is just you have calculated V naught sine theta naught upon G minus half G Tm square. So substitute the value of Tm square, that is V naught sine theta naught upon G whole square. Simplify it, then you will get Hm equal to V naught square sine square theta naught upon 2G. This is the formula for the maximum height. There is another method that you can also solve it. So that one is, means at the maximum height of the projectile, the vertical component of velocity is 0. So you apply the formula Vy square equal to V naught y square plus 2ay. So here you substitute in place of Vy 0, in place of V naught y, V naught sine theta, and the equation that becomes Vy square equal to V naught square sine square theta naught minus 2G y. But Vy is 0, so that's why 0 square equal to V naught square sine square theta minus 2G, in place of y is maximum height Hm. So simplify it and calculate it, you will get Hm equal to V naught square sine square theta naught upon 2G. So this is the maximum height of a projectile. Now the range of a projectile. Let r be the range of the projectile after the time of flight, that is Tf. It is the horizontal distance covered by the projectile from its initial position to the position where it passes, that is y equal to 0. So that is known as the range of projectile. So we apply the formula x equal to v naught xt equal to v naught cos theta naught t, and then that becomes, in place of x is r, that is the range of projectile, in place of t is time of flight. So r equal to v naught cos theta naught tf, and tf you have already calculated, so substitute the value of the tf here, then r equal to v naught cos theta naught 2 v naught sine theta naught upon g. So from here this v naught and the v naught, that is v naught square, and 2 sine theta naught cos theta naught, that becomes sine 2 theta naught. So equation that becomes r equal to v naught square sine 2 theta naught upon g. That is the equation for range of projectile. Now r will be maximum when sine 2 theta naught equal to 1. So sine 2 theta not equal to 1 means sine 2 theta equal to sine 90, then 2 theta not equal to 90 and theta not equal to 45 degree. So r will be maximum when theta not equal to 45 degree. So that's why we can write maximum horizontal range Rm equal to V naught square upon G. Now if or when theta not equal to 45 degree, then we can also calculate the maximum height by using the formula of the maximum height. So that comes to be V naught square upon 4G. Then from maximum height equation and maximum horizontal range equation, we can find the relation between the maximum range and maximum height. That you will get Rm equal to 4Hm. Means in place of this V naught square upon G you write Rm. So Hm equal to Rm upon 4, then Rm equal to 4 Hm at 45 degree. That is the maximum horizontal range is equal to 4 times the maximum height when the projectile is projected at an angle 45 degree. Now the range of projectile is the same for complement angles of the projection, and that you can see here. The range is given by V naught square sine 2 theta naught upon G, and here we take the complement angles. As you see that at 45 degree when a projectile is projected with velocity V naught, then the maximum range we are getting R max. Now we project the projectile with other than 45 degree, say by an angle alpha with velocity V naught. Then you say that the path which is given by the green color, and similarly with another angle we take alpha and projected with velocity V naught. So what you are getting at 45 degree only you are getting the maximum range, and for the rest of, if we say that the for the example we say that angle is 45 degree plus alpha or 45 degree minus alpha. So in both the cases you can see here this is represented by green line and this is represented by blue line. Is 90 plus 2 alpha and 90 minus 2 alpha respectively. So the value of sine 90 plus 2 alpha and sine 90 minus 2 alpha are the same and are equal to the cos 2 alpha. Therefore ranges are equal for elevation which exceed or fall short of 45 degree by equal amount of alpha. In other words, the complement angles of elevation, the ranges will be the same. That is for theta not equal to 90 degree minus theta naught, the value of sine 2 theta naught equal to sine 180 degree minus 2 theta naught are the same. So the next topic is now uniform circular motion. When a body moves with constant speed on a circular path, then it is said to have the uniform circular motion. You can see here in the animated part. Here this is a dot is a body and which is moving with constant speed on the circular path. Then we say that it is a uniform circular motion. Here a body is at point P which is moving with constant speed along the circular path of radius r. In vector form it is represented by r vector and the center of the circular path is represented by O. And when it moves from P to P dash with angular velocity omega dash, omega vector, Then the tangent which is drawn at point P gives the direction of velocity, that is the linear velocity. Similarly, when the tangent drawn at P dash, which gives the direction of velocity, but the magnitude of velocity here remains constant. And at that time, the position vector of P point is represented by r vector, and position vector of the object at P dash is represented by r dash vector. So the linear velocity v vector is constant in magnitude but changes its direction continuously. Therefore, the particle experiences an acceleration. In case of non-uniform circular motion, the particle experiences acceleration due to the change in both speed and direction. But in uniform circular motion, it experiences the acceleration because of change in direction. So you can see here delta theta be the angular displacement, and when we join P and P dash, then PP dash equal to delta r vector. And when the particle, you see that, move from P point to P dash in time t to t dash, then delta t equal to t dash minus t, and the line OP, that is the radius vector, moves through an angle delta theta, that is called angular displacement. The velocity vector v vector turns through the same angle, the velocity vector v vector turns through the same angle delta theta, and that becomes v dash vector. Only the direction gets changed but the magnitude remains constant. The linear displacement which we are saying by joining the P and P dash represented by delta r vector, the linear distance, then delta s, is the arc of PP dash. This PP dash, this is the delta s, means arc. Then the angular velocity is the rate of change of angular displacement. So that's why omega vector equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta theta vector upon delta t. Now we find out the relation between linear and angular velocity. The linear velocity is the rate of change of linear displacement. So which we can write v vector mod equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta s upon delta t. And from the figure you can see that delta s equal to r delta theta by simply using the formula of angle equal to arc upon radius. Therefore, v vector, that becomes limit delta t tends to 0 r delta theta upon delta t, means we have to write in place of delta s r delta theta. Or we can say that r we take outside, the limit delta t tends to 0 delta theta upon delta t. Then what is this? Just you have calculated this value which is equal to the omega, that is mod of omega vector. So v vector mod equal to r omega or mod of omega vector. In vector form we can write v vector equal to omega vector cross r vector. Omega vector, r vector and v vector are mutually perpendicular to each other, and omega vector is perpendicular to the plane containing r vector and v vector. Now acceleration in uniform circular motion. So you see that the direction of acceleration of particle in uniform circular motion. So for that purpose, we take a particle at point P and which is moving along this circular path with constant speed. But at every instant of time, its direction changes. So the velocities are represented by the tangents drawn at the points. We take the 2 points P and P dash. So when the particle move from P to P dash through the angular displacement delta theta vector, and at that time the position vector of particle at P is represented by r vector, and at P dash it is represented by r dash vector, and P dash, this is the arc, and that is delta s, and P dash is the linear distance, which is delta r vector. Now we draw the same diagram in terms of the velocity. So this velocity v we have taken here. Now similarly we take this v dash velocities here also, and the angle between them is this delta theta. Then this is the resultant, that is delta v vector, which is perpendicular to this delta r vector. As we make close v vector to the v dash vector, that is the particle is moving from P to P dash. As it is approaches towards the P dash, the angle beta, which is shown here, you can see here, and this angle beta get reduces, means approaching towards P dash, that is delta t tends to 0 but never be 0. So here delta t tends to 0, so therefore delta theta also tends to 0, and what happens, you see here, then this angle beta that becomes 90 degree. It means the angle between delta v and v dash, that is v increases and approaches 90 degree. Therefore delta v becomes perpendicular to v. This is v dash. Then r vector is perpendicular to v vector, and delta v vector is also perpendicular to v vector. Therefore delta v is acting along minus r vector. Since acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, therefore it acts in the direction of delta v vector, or it acts in the direction along the radius and towards the center. Along the radius and towards the center. Hence, this acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. So, what is centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration is the acceleration of a body or the object or the particle moving on a circular path with constant speed. Then the acceleration acts along the radius towards the center of that circular path along which the body is moving with constant speed is known as centripetal acceleration. So in a simple word we can say that acceleration, which is acting along the radius towards the center of circular path of the particle, or the object or the body is known as centripetal acceleration. Now the magnitude of that centripetal acceleration or the particle moving in uniform circular motion, the same diagram that we have taken. Now the two isosceles triangles O P P dash and P A P are similar triangles. So we apply the concept of the similar triangle, that is AB upon PP dash equal to PA upon OP. So what you will get? Mod of delta V upon mod of delta R equal to mod of V upon mod of R. Or simply you can write delta V upon delta R equal to V upon R. So from here we can write mod of delta V equal to mod of V upon mod of R into mod of delta R. Then the acceleration, we know that mod of acceleration A equal to limit delta t tends to 0 mod of delta V upon delta t. Now substitute the value of delta V mod in this equation from here. So what you will get? Mod of A vector equal to limit delta t tends to 0 mod of V vector upon mod of R vector into mod of delta R vector upon delta t. Now V upon R you take outside, or we can say that mod of A vector equal to mod of V vector upon mod of R vector you take outside, and write like that: limit delta t tends to 0 delta V vector mod upon delta t, then this becomes linear velocity, that is mod of V vector. So mod of A vector equal to mod of V vector upon mod of R vector into mod of V vector. So that becomes mod of A vector equal to mod of V vector square upon mod of R vector. That is A equal to V square upon R. So centripetal acceleration ACP, CP is centripetal acceleration. So ACP equal to V square upon R. Now we can express the centripetal acceleration in terms of the angular speed. So ACP equal to V square upon R, but V equal to R omega. So substitute this value here. So what you will get? ACP equal to R omega whole square upon R, and then this becomes R square omega square upon R. One R get cancelled. So what you will get? ACP equal to omega square R. So this is the centripetal acceleration in terms of the angular speed. And centripetal acceleration can also be written as in terms of the frequency, because omega equal to 2 pi f or 2 pi nu. So substitute this value here in this equation. So what you will get? ACP equal to 2 pi nu whole square into R. So that you will get ACP equal to 4 pi square nu square R. That is centripetal acceleration equal to 4 pi R, 4 pi square nu square R. So this is about centripetal acceleration. Now you understand the direction of R, V, omega and ACP. The relative directions of the various quantities that you see in this diagram. This is the diagram in which a particle or a body or an object is moving with constant speed in a circular path. That is, the motion of particle is uniform circular motion. So the particle is at point P. Then you see that the direction of R O to P represented by R vector. Direction of velocity is represented by tangent drawn at point P represented by V vector. Now the omega, which is rotating the particle or the body along the circular path, whose direction is given here, and acceleration acting onto the particle, which is known as centripetal acceleration, whose direction is always along the radius toward the center of circular path. So that is represented by this blue arrow, that is A vector Cp. This is the direction of centripetal acceleration, which is always along the radius towards the center of uniform circular path. If you like my video, then like it, subscribe it, press the bell icon. Stay safe, stay healthy, learn physics by my YouTube channel. Thank you and have a nice day.